I've said this many times with lower budget cinema. Whenever a big film comes out, you get these piggyback pictures. And I get it. It helps when you have a mass project that consumes all branding of a particular term, that you would decide, hey, let's take our smaller project, name it accordingly, and we'll get free advertising, time and dollars. That's the state with the Jurassic World or / Park brand. That's been happening for a while now. There's a lot of projects that go by the Jurassic label. I've not necessarily covered every single one, but I've seen many by name. It's very typical. Like I said, this is a popular trend in horror, that you'll see a main film come out from a larger studio that gets all the notoriety, and then some smaller studio. And it makes sense, in terms of business-wise. Some smaller studios don't have the means to compete compared to larger studios. So why wouldn't you piggyback off of whatever studios are doing in regards to advertising? It's funny to me. It just keeps happening, especially with the Jurassic brand lately. It's Jurassic in particular focus. It's always a name attribution that I constantly see. And with Rise of Jurassic, here we go, another iteration. And this is also from a common partaker in that venue, ITN Distribution, which I've seen a couple of their projects. I've covered a bunch, but I've seen a few in full. And there's a wide array to their quality, at least what I'm seeing develop right now. Some projects boast their lower budget fare quite readily. It just looks that way. You can tell that the projects themselves didn't have much money to spend. Some of the visual effects were kind of wonky. I've seen particular examples. Let's say The Devil's Fairground, the Rocket Hunter movies. I watched the first one in full, and that one had bad VFX. But then I've seen other ones. Let's say, for example, was the Serpent King one of theirs? It might have been. I might be wrong on that. No, I think it was. Or Caleb. Movies like that you watch the trailer and you're like, this is impressive. This isn't like what you normally produce, on a regular basis. So sometimes you see that differentiation. But it's a common thing with them to mimic branding other places. I'm not surprised that Rise of Jurassic would be theirs. But maybe it'll be good. Maybe this film will be quite appealing visually. I don't know. I've seen many dinosaur lower budget fare where the effects are really bad anyway, and they kind of preclude the overall efficacy of the movie. But maybe the picture in itself will be quite fun. I said that about Jurassic Island, though there you can also see limited VFX. I thought the camera work was good. The environmental choices were quite great. Let's see if Rise of Jurassic's the same. I couldn't find a synopsis for this, so I'm very much going in fresh, other than knowing it is a dinosaur movie just based on the Jurassic World branding, or branding. And I think I saw a photo of on a thumbnail somewhere else where there's a dinosaur in focus. So again, I know that. Maybe it's going by another name. If the Serpent King was theirs, and I think it was, that one by 3 different names, I believe. Maybe this is known somewhere else, I'm just not finding the page. I did a lot of digging with that particular work. Let's see what Rise of Jurassic has to offer. Very much for me on a fresh perspective. Hang on. All right. It's better. And this is an international release from them. I'm seeing typically it's the international releases that have better VFX. This looks good. It's not necessarily Jurassic World level, but it's better than what I've seen other places, especially domestically. Almost looks like a video game blended with real world acting. That was kind of goofy. It's better. Compared to other projects I've looked at, this is actually kind of fun. I can actually see myself watching this and liking it, and forgiving, in some ways, a lacking presentation on VFX. You can see it. There are clear scenes of that. The T-Rex, as funny as it is to watch I'm assuming that's a Brachiosaurus step on somebody, that's clearly VFX work. The pterodactyls hitting the planes. Again, there are key shots here that you can clearly tell we have a limited budget. But it's always the international fare that seems to do better. I said this about Caleb, though I didn't like the nudity in that movie. It was pretty explicit. I didn't watch it in full. I'm just considering the trailer. There was a lot there anyway. The portrayal of it, if you're not familiar with that, it's a vampire movie. I think it was made in Italy as well. The Gothic European appearance of it is not what ITN, at least in my viewing experience of their work, was known for. I regarded them as lower budget fare, where the lower budget side is clearly visible. But that's more so, I think, a domestic attribution, like in American movies, not internationally. Maybe ITN is just a great gauge for lower budget fare, especially for international markets. I mean, there are studios that have those particular environments set up. Like, for example, Netflix has made a wide presence in the international space. They've carried so many different projects along those lines. And some of them have turned out quite well. Think of Squid Game, or I think there's other ones too. Maybe I'm forgetting some of the other examples. But I've looked at a bunch that have appeared quite good. And even I can say, as somebody who's not engaged with every single work of theirs from international markets, that Netflix has a space carved out for that. And for many viewers, it is an attractive space to probe. ITN, if we forgive some faulty VFX work, but understand, again, limitations. And I try to be respectful, too, when I approach lower budget fare, because I cover indie work all the time. So for me, I like to be able to make sure that I'm providing content that is fair in articulation, right? And I understand it with lower budgets, lower name crews and filmmakers. It's mostly about vision. It might just be a first attempt. So I try and be very fair and decent when I approach content, but still be true to, the constraints that are anybody's going to be aware of. It still is like a fun experience. Like, if you like the Jurassic World movies or some of these lower budget dinosaur film projects, it looks fun. Actually, this Velociraptor, if I look at it, really looks like Jurassic World level, at least on the front shot. Like, they rendered that pretty well. This is better than a lot of what I've seen. I mean, it's close. It's not perfect, but it's close. And it has a fun energy. I think it's a fun action thriller. It's kind of, got a similar vibe. Not just in name branding, of course, but even in the portrayal. It looks like a fun, out on the island somewhere, action thriller centered around dinosaurs versus man. I think it could be quite entertaining. And I'm imagining you probably don't have to exhaust. I mean, again, like I said, I couldn't find much information on this movie. Probably on Tubi or something. They carry a bunch of theirs. I'm sure it'd be an accessible release. Maybe on some streaming market. Maybe it still has to make its way around a bit. I don't know. I think it looks fun, though. I'm engaged to watch it. I'll, try it out. I can't say that about maybe some other releases where I've been like, this looks way too comical on its face, where I'm like, I'd be laughing at it the entire time. I actually like what I'm seeing here. Looks good. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down below if you're somebody as well that likes to engage with lower budget fare. Maybe you didn't know about this movie, but like I've been saying, the lower budget market is filled with Jurassic projects. And they're all, for the most part, centered around dinosaurs. It's a popular thing to do these days. And you see this as well with clowns, nuns, zombies, sharks. Don't even get me started about sharks. Anyway, you see this everywhere, piggybacking off major branding or particular trends in the thriller horror landscape. Jurassic World seems to be the one that's gotten a presence, especially lately, but some of the projects, I guess, in the mix of copycatting on tone or branding appear fun and engaging. I'd love to hear if you wish to disclose your perspective down below what your opinion is on Rise of Jurassic, but I'm okay with it. I could see myself sitting down and watching this and finding it to be an entertaining project. Or maybe it'll be very much like Jurassic World and be like, you're copycatting every way. I mean, I don't know. But I'm at least open to it. I think it's engaging enough where I can forgive some of the VFX work that appears a bit funny because it's kind of goofy. It actually looks like I'll have fun with it. We'll have to see, but I'm curious. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.